So you guys might have seen this viral story going on. I mean, this stuff, it's so insane. It's happening all around the country. But in Southern California, at Martin Luther King Jr. High School in Riverside, dudes can compete in girls' sports. That's right, at the high school level. This same school district has been in hot water before, a couple years ago, for a dude who said he was a girl, who was in the girls' locker room, who was actually beating young women up physically. I don't know what is going on in this school district in Riverside, California, but right now, a cross-country dude athlete is competing in the female cross-country team at Martin Luther King Jr. High School in Riverside, California. Joining us today to discuss this insane, ridiculous story is Sophia Lorey, the outreach coordinator for California Family Council, longtime friends of mine, and we support their ministry, and we're ministry partners with them here at the White Rose Resistance, including one of the high school athletes and individuals at this school. Her name is Jadeynnn, who's actually she's actually an athlete herself. She's a junior, but her friends have been having to race alongside dudes on the cross country team. All they did was wear a shirt that said "Save Girls Sports," and the administration has put them on suspension, detention, compared them to Nazis wearing a swastika, and now Planned Parenthood and the LGBTQ elemental PIA, my name is Legion, trans cult mafia, is showing up at school board meetings tonight as of this recording to shame, to castigate, and to try to silence over 100 teenage students who have worn these shirts to stick a middle finger at the administration for protecting this transgender nonsense mania delusion. When high school teenage girls have more courage than the entire adult administration of a high school, we're in deep doo-doo, but these are the kind of people that we need to celebrate, we need to honor, we need to support, and we need to encourage. Enjoy this wild conversation coming to you from the front lines of the culture war. Welcome to the Seth Gruber Show. Over 1 million children were killed in 2023 in America.
Children are always the unconsenting subjects of progressive social experiments.
What if the culture war was just a proxy war for the spiritual war? What if Satan masqueraded his demonic assault against the image of God as just a science and just a politics to keep the politically impotent pastors silent?
We live in the culture of death called why is abortion demonic? Because Jesus came for you to have life. The devil came to steal and kill and destroy.
We won't do for good what the other side is so zealously willing to do for wickedness.
Join us at Life or Death Con on January 23rd in Washington, D.C. Head over to lifeordeathcon.com to get tickets today.
It's almost here, guys. Life or Death Con coming to you from the Westin Hotel in downtown Washington, D.C., happening on January 23rd, okay? This is the post-Roe v. Wade moment, and it's where the church is going to have to rise. If the church doesn't learn to find her chest again and to rebuild Christian resistance as more babies are being killed after the overturning of Roe v. Wade than before, then none of this insanity will end. We need the church. That's what the White Rose Resistance exists to do, and that's what we're doing in Washington, D.C. with Life or Death Con. Go to lifeordeathcon.com to pick up your tickets, and if you're an ally, that means $35 a month donor at the White Rose Resistance or greater, you actually get a free ticket to Life or Death Con to hear Allie Beth Stuckey and Eric Metaxas and Dr. George Grant and Dr. Nancy Piercy and Joshua Broom and AJ Hurley and Isabel Brown and Landon Schott and myself. It's such an incredible lineup. We only have 1,000 seats. The seats are going quickly, so make sure you pick up your ticket, join us, and then stick around for the day after for the National March for Life in our nation's capital. Okay? Lifeordeathcon.com. Pick up your tickets before they're gone. Sophia and Jadeynh, welcome to the show, guys. This is wow. Why do we even have to talk about this, Sophia? Why is everything stupid? Can you give us? I teased kind of a little bit of what's going on in the intro, but give us the update in this fight that you and honestly, Jadeynh, this teenage hero are in against. I don't know. I guess the chauvinists are back. Help us out here, Sophia.
Yeah, well, Seth, thanks for having me on. There has just been complete nonsense coming out of Riverside, California, but I mean, it's happening all across the nation. We're seeing the issue of men and women's sports, and, people used to say it's not happening. Now they can't deny it. It is literally happening. It's happening in junior highs and elementary schools. It's happening in your local neighborhood, whether you think it is or not, it is happening. And so at MLK High School, Martin Luther King High School in Riverside, there is a male on the girls cross country team. And we watched him beat out some girls for spots, but mind you, he's not showing up for practice. He's not following the handbook rules that state you have to meet certain qualities to be able to compete at the varsity level. He's not showing up. He's not meeting those rules. He's taking over girls' spots. So the girls were done with it. The girls decided it's time to stand up, and they wore Save Girls sports shirts. Jadeynh, she has her Save Girls sports shirt on. The back of it, their shirt said XX does not equal XY. It's common sense because it is common sense, to which they literally got pulled into the athletic director's office for wearing those shirts to practice. Again, a practice the boy wasn't at because he doesn't show up to them all the time. And they were told, these two high school girls were literally told that wearing that shirt was not allowed. And when they asked why, the athletic director let them know it would be equivalent to wearing swastikas in front of a Jewish student. Can you believe?
The athletic director?
Yes.
No.
Swastikas in front of a Jewish student. And mind you, one of these girls is a freshman, doesn't even know what a swastika is. She's like, what's going on? What are you saying? What does this mean? And so to compare girls saying that boys shouldn't be in girls' sports to the killing of 6 million Jews is beyond ridiculous, completely illogical. But it's funny because the story doesn't stop there. I mean, a week later after that, there was a school board meeting. These girls, they joined Advocates for Faith and Freedom and filed a lawsuit because their First Amendment right was violated. They're also pushing back that the school is not following in with Title IX. Then school board meeting, about 15 local parents show up. I was there. One of the other girls on the cross country team was there, and we spoke out saying this wasn't okay. That blew up. And now there's another school board meeting actually happening later today, and it's blowing up. I mean, we see people coming in that are going to be wearing the shirts. We are seeing the trans activists posting on social media saying, get there at 3 p.m. Even though the meeting's not till 5:30, we need to take up all the spots in the room because they are attacking trans girls. Let's call it what it is. We're simply saying boys don't belong in girls' sports. It's completely illogical to say that. It's common sense to say that. And so we're trying to stand against this. Jadeynh has done an amazing job to stand against this. The school, the administration, they are continuing to state that it's okay for boys to be in girls' sports. They're pushing back. But the students, they're standing up. 2 Wednesdays in a row, we saw the first Wednesday, about 150 students show up to campus wearing Save Girls sports shirts. The next Wednesday, we saw even more, even at other schools in the Riverside School District. So this situation's blowing up. I'm so proud to see the high school students stand against this and say no more to the nonsense.
That's right. So we have Jadeynh with us here on the show right now. So listen, Jadeynh, I'm starting to get a little bit more hope about your generation, Gen Z. So I'm a millennial, right? So we're the generation before you guys. But I'm starting to see in your generation a little bit of a I don't know, like a really good BS sniff radar, I guess you could call it, and a little bit like more of a refusal to go along with the cultural zeitgeist than my generation. I see Sophia going, heck yeah. So Jadeynh, you're an athlete yourself. I mean, so like you kind of care about this because you don't want to have to swim against a dude. But tell us how you got involved in standing up in this. You kind of tell us your side of the story and why. Well, before we continue this crazy conversation, we want to thank our sponsor of the Seth Gruber Show, Every Life Diaper Company, America's pro-life, pro-family, diaper, baby brand company. Because like 7 of these major baby brands that sell like wipes and diapers, which is like obviously a huge industry, are in bed with the abortion industry. They sometimes they financially support abortion. Some of these groups were paying their employees after Roe got overturned to go get abortions in more blue states. I mean, like posting pro-abortion posts on like their Instagram accounts. Okay, hey, listen, if we want to change the culture, we're gonna have to build an alternative economy, an alternative marketplace, which means you're gonna have to shop in alignment with your values. Are you ready to sacrifice, even if it means you're not getting some of the brands that you used to like in order to rebuild a culture of life? I am. I hope you are. If you have young ones, babies, loved ones having babies, get them or get yourself Every Life diapers, wipes, and now shampoos and soaps. Everylife.com, promo code Seth10, Seth10. I know the founders, Sarah Gable Seifert. Okay, these are actually friends of mine. They're incredibly like moral and brilliant and just beautiful people. And the company is just as wonderful as well. Go to everylife.com, promo code Seth10 for 10% off your first order. Let them know that we sent you. And when you use that code, you're not just saving money, you're letting them know that you heard it from us, which supports the White Rose Resistance as well. Everylife.com. Thank you for supporting and sponsoring the Seth Gruber Show.
Yeah. So I haven't done swim at King yet. So I haven't played on any of the Kings like teams yet, and I'm joining this year. And my best friend, she's actually played all 4 years, and she's had to go up against many different biological males. Not all.
It's okay to call them dudes, by the way. We just call them dudes here at the show.
Not all of them were transgender athletes, but she's had to go up against them, and she said it's not fair. They swim a lot faster. Like, they have so many more advantages, and the coaches don't do anything about it. And
insane.
Yeah.
But now, recently, one of your best friends, who I think you told me off air is a cross-country athlete, is now being forced to race against dudes. Is that right?
Yes. So my friend, she's the one who got involved with it all, started it all. She's actually my friend from church and my friend from ASB. We're both in the leadership exchange program together. We're both going to our church every Wednesday, every Sunday. And so she's the nicest person ever. And all these people are saying all these bad things about her. And I'm like, that's not her. What? And so I bought a shirt from her. I talked to her dad about it, and he is very supportive of her, very supportive of everything. And I wore it to support my friend.
And you're wearing that shirt now, and tell us what it says.
It says "Save Women's Sports" on the front, and on the back it says "It's common sense. XX does not equal XY."
Yeah, that's right. So you and a bunch of your friends now. It sounds maybe some of them you don't even know. This is all a bunch of the students are starting to wear this, and you get reprimanded at your own high school. Tell us how the school treated you and what they said. Beyond what just Sophia just said, that you're a Nazi, I guess is what they're saying. But did they actually make you put a sweater over this shirt or cover it up? How did this go down at MLK High School?
Well, there was the Nazi comment that she made originally to the 2 cross-country girls, and then they started posting, or there was I think an email or a text leaked from the principal that was telling all the staff that they were going to dress code or suspend all of us. And so we all knew something was coming. So me and my best friend wore our shirts and we walked into school together, and we were stopped by one of the vice principals, and she said, "Your shirts go against our dress code." And we said, "How do our shirts go against the dress code? They don't say anything mean on them." She said, "It creates a hostile environment." And I said, "No, it doesn't." I said it states a biological fact. And I said, "You taught us this freshman year, so does that mean you have to change your whole curriculum?"
You said that?
Yes. And many other girls have said that as well.
Sophia, she's spicy.
I know, I'm loving this.
And she just kept arguing back with us. She said, "I'm not going to let you in."
How did your vice principal respond when you asked them if they're going to be changing the biology curriculum?
Every time we tried to defend our shirts, they just go back in circles and they're like, well, it's still hostile. And we're like, well, I don't know what to tell you. And so she said, you either have the choice to take off your shirt, put a sweater over the back, because she said it's only the back that XX does not equal XY that they're focused on. Or change into a King issued sweater or shirt. And I said, okay, well, I have my Letterman in my car. So me and my best friend went back to our cars, put on our jackets, walked into school and took them back off. And we just wanted to get to first period. And as we're getting a pass from our vice principal to go back to first period, because at that point, I think it was already 10 minutes into first period, my best friend asked the question, like, I don't understand why we don't get to stand up for ourselves and our beliefs. And she said, well, I can show you the dress code. And I said, show me then. So she puts the dress code in front of us, and she has it highlighted, clothes that create a hostile learning environment for students. And I was like, well, and me and my best friend were both arguing, how does our shirt create a hostile environment, yet their trans flags and trans shirts and trans wristbands and all these different gay pride things that they get to shove down our throats? A lot of people don't have those beliefs. A lot of people at my school are religious and do not believe in those things. Yep. And I just think it's wrong. And so she just kept deflecting and going in circles.
Wow. Jadeynnn, you don't know this about me probably, but when I was a senior in high school in Whittier, which is not far from Riverside, I threatened to sue Whittier High School for viewpoint discrimination, because they told me that I couldn't pick the topic of abortion for my senior project. And they backed off, and I did whatever the heck I wanted to, because I knew my rights and they didn't. It sounds like you've got the same kind of fire in you. Sophia, is this resulting in a lawsuit? What's going on?
Yeah, so like I said earlier, those girls, they originally filed a lawsuit, and based off what's happening here, I'm hoping many more students join in. We can see this maybe turn into a class action, because that day, they were literally, as Jadeynnn was mentioning, standing at the gate, ready and waiting for some students to be wearing these shirts. And so they shut them down. Emails have been exposed. The principal later sent out an email stating that there's 3 different Save Girls shirts going around. Only one of the shirts on the back says it's common sense, XX does not equal XY. They said those are the shirts we're going to be shutting down. So we took to the world of social media, blasted all their phone numbers, put out the information. Libs of TikTok was retweeting it. Riley Gaines was sharing it. I mean, we really had people calling the school. So the following Wednesday, they were ready to do the dress codes again. And that morning, the principal had a meeting with all of the administrators, teachers, and said, we're not going to be doing dress codes today. And I think that's because they're scared of the lawsuits. They already have the one lawsuit pending. They can see other people joining. And so I think they're kind of waking up and recognizing that they're violating these students' First Amendment rights. So I'm looking forward to watching the process of the lawsuits continue on and hopefully grow with more students.
And you guys said you actually have a school board meeting tonight, which I'm like, if I had a private jet, I'll tell you right now, I would be jumping on it right now to go join you and give a little talk there as well. But so Jadeynnn, you're going to be speaking, yeah?
Yeah, I'm planning on it because I heard there's going to be a lot of people there.
Yeah, well, I mean, apparently Sophia said that the whole transgender, mafia activist movement is planning to come there. And I'm sure that they're already, smearing you as a Nazi or some kind of stupid thing. But I mean, I'm curious what this has resulted in the culture in your school, because it's becoming a viral story. So everyone knows who you are now. Jadeynnn, I mean, like this must be an interesting journey for you. What's that been like in class, at school, as you've been standing up?
Well, I've actually had a couple people, I don't even know, be like, thank you for sharing, seniors, I'm not in their grade, they've thanked me. Wow. I've had different people be like, oh my gosh, I saw your TikTok, or I saw you on Instagram, and I'm like, yeah, go to the school board meeting.
Good.
And so it's just a very weird situation. I haven't been through this before. I've had videos go viral, but I haven't been advocating for something so serious.
Right.
And I feel like this is a very like positive experience.
Good.
And I've had like teachers try to talk to me. Actually, one of my teachers, he actually congratulated me, and he congratulated my friend who spoke at the last meeting because she's in my class. She sits next to me. And I had another teacher who wanted to argue with me about my shirt.
Really?
Yeah. So
What was that like?
she basically said, I was like, I don't understand how the XXXY creates a hostile environment. And I don't know if she was trying to manipulate me, but she was like, well, there was a lot of suicides last year, and we're just scared that this will happen. And I was like, well, then maybe they should just like get a softer skin, like if they want to go through this. So.
Wow, good for you. Well, and what, by the way, just so you can completely slay ideologically tonight at the school board meeting, Jadeynnn, remind people that the beginning of the transgender ideology in the modern world started with a kooky weirdo scientist named John Money, who did sexual experiments and observations on a child who had a botched circumcision. So he told the parents, raise David Reimer as a girl named Brenda. Anyways, end of the story is David Reimer ends up killing himself. Because of the transgender experiments that he was subjected to. But then today, they tell conservatives and Christians like you, Jadeynnn, that if you don't support doing the same kinds of things to minors today, that they will kill themselves, when in reality it was the first transgender experiment that resulted in an individual taking their own life. So don't ever let them get away with that. We're super proud of you. Now, something tells me, though, Sophia, that if a teenager wore a shirt that said "Protect Trans Kids," which is this new shirt I'm seeing everywhere, something tells me MLK Jr. administration wouldn't be saying that they need to be expelled or suspended for creating a hostile study environment. Or am I missing something here?
No, absolutely. I mean, the girls that first wore these shirts to their cross-country practice wore them because they were staying up on this issue, but also because the boy on the team was wearing his trans pride bracelets. And that was allowed. So they are allowing this stuff. I mean, there's now another boy at MLK High School, and he does pole vaulting. He's been on the guys' team, made an Instagram post, but made it private, quote unquote. So he was sharing it just to close friends, literally threatening the girls. And he shared that he's going to be switching over to the girl pole vaulting, and that if anyone has a problem with that, they should be smacked in the face. I mean, it was inciting threats.
Sounds hostile.
Yes, we're going to talk about anything being hostile. And so as of right now...
Wait, you're saying there's two dudes who are now competing in girls' sports at MLK Junior High School?
Yes.
Oh my God.
Yes. And apparently we're still getting the full information on this, but another high school in that district has a boy on the girls' water polo team. First of all, no one wants to see a boy in the girls' water polo uniforms, but that is it's a very contact sport. Think about the issues that are going to result from that, if some have even happened yet. And so this district, we're just seeing a mess from it. And it's because of the administration. It's because of the school board. This is the same district that blew up on social media maybe a year to 2 years ago now, because there was a boy using the girls' bathrooms, identifying as a girl, literally starting fights. Like there's videos of him fighting and punching and beating up girls, causing issues. I mean, there's boys coming out and saying that this boy was showing his genitalia in the girls' bathrooms, that he's spitting on the girls. That happened in this exact district a little over a year ago. And here we're at now.
So they haven't learned anything, is what you're saying.
Absolutely nothing. But hopefully this will get them to recognize what's going on. We just had Assemblymember Bill Asaley, who is over the district next door, and Assemblywoman Leticia Castillo, who just got voted in, and she oversees this district that the school is in.
Please tell us all the names again. Tell us the principal of Martin Luther King Jr. High School, and tell us the superintendent.
Yes. So the superintendent, Renee Hill, that's who Assemblymember Bill Asaley and Assemblywoman Leticia Castillo have actually called for her to resign. So they sent out a press release about 1 or 2 days ago, calling for the resignation of Superintendent Renee Hill. The principal Iacon, she is there and she has continued to support this. I mean, again, the emails were coming directly from her that we got a hold of, because not everyone that's a teacher there, not all the administrators agree with what this principal is standing for. So we've seen her push back on this, and now we're seeing emails being exposed from the teachers union saying, show up to the school board meeting, here's what you need to say. They're saying Planned Parenthood's going to be there, because we know Planned Parenthood's not just killing babies now, they're now harming children once they're outside of the womb by sterilizing and mutilating their bodies.
Yep.
So they're going to be there because they make money off of these children that are going through these mental problems, that are confused, that are following this social contagion of trans ideology. So we are seeing so much of the administration involved in this, standing for boys to expose their genitalia to girls in locker rooms, to put girls at harm's risk on the sports field. And yet it's the high schoolers that are standing up. And so I am just beyond proud of Jadeyinn and all these other high schoolers that are standing up and saying no more, because we're not going to stop this whole issue unless if the girls say no. And I hate having the girl to tell the girls, don't play the game. Don't run the race. Don't go into the locker room, all these things, because I played college soccer. I would love to get one more college game with my teammates. It was the greatest time of my life. So it breaks my heart to ask these girls, but if these girls, if the high schoolers, if the students that are getting put in this situation don't say no more, we're done, we're going to see girls' sports disappear forever.
Yeah, well, no, of course that's right. And by the way, I think there's a reason why it's called women's sports and girls' sports. So you see that the whole point is it's a war against objective reality. It's a war against nature itself. And that's why this battle and this fight is so important. It's the same reason, by the way, that the fight against abortion is so important and significant, because in each case you're dealing with external natural realities, meaning like there are babies and they start as babies and they're humans, not gradually, but from the moment they become humans. There are boys and there are girls, and their gender was decided at the moment of conception, and that will never change. Like, these are such fixed realities that if they can recreate themselves, upend even the most basic realities, then there's no end to their political project. And that's always kind of been the point. Jadeyinn, any of these teachers who said kind of good job and encouraged you, are they actually going to be showing up to speak at the school board meeting? Are they vocally going to side with you, or just kind of pat you on the back and say we're praying for you after class?
I'm not sure. I haven't heard of any of the teachers like going to the school board meetings.
Wow.
I know the only teacher that I know that has been praising students is a teacher that I have that actually goes to my church. So he's Christian, like he has these ideals, but a lot of the teachers are on the left, on the far left. I know our principal, Dr. Iacone, actually there was an incident with me and my best friend where in the beginning of the year, she was sitting in a teacher's class and she made a joke about Donald Trump before the election. And he actually, no, my best friend in a teacher's class.
Okay, gotcha.
And she made a joke about Donald Trump, like quoted him, and the teacher overheard and went off on her and was like, I hate him. If he gets elected, he's the next Adolf Hitler. Like, you might as well take a flag, stomp it on the floor and burn it. And so
the principal said this in class?
My teacher from last year,
your teacher said it in class to your friend.
Yes, she sits in his class at lunch along with many other students, and he heard them talking about it at lunch and overheard and put his opinion on it, and basically was just yelling all of his political beliefs, was like, if he gets elected, I'm moving to Europe, blah, blah, blah. And my best friend was like,
is he moving? Because I'll buy his plane ticket for him.
And so my best friend, she actually reported him to the principal, to Dr. Iacone, and Dr. Iacone was like, oh, that's wrong. Like, I don't accept that. And then nothing happened.
Wow.
So a lot of these teachers are just allowed to push whatever beliefs they want, such as my teacher that yelled at me for my shirt in front of the entire class for 10 minutes instead of teaching me like she should. And
your
they don't
teacher
get in
went off
trouble.
on you for 10 minutes?
we had a conversation. She sat next to my desk. There was 5 other people wearing this shirt in my class, but she went towards me and argued with me for 10 minutes. And then I guess I won, because then she went up to the front and she said, "Does this shirt make anyone uncomfortable?" And everyone said no. And she said, "Okay, well then stop talking about the shirts and let's learn math." And I was like, "But you're the one talking about the shirt. What?" Like,
well, they're petulant children, Jadeynnn. That's what you. Unfortunately, you're probably having to learn the hard way, and you're probably realizing very quickly here that you're significantly more mature and significantly more grounded in reality than the quote unquote adults who are your teachers. And so incredible. I have this hilarious picture here. I assume some of these are your friends. This is from your This Is a Woman podcast post here, Sophia. And someone put on Instagram, "My daughter and these girls spent 2.5 hours in the principal's office today, standing up for their First Amendment rights. Way to go, Martin Luther King High School." So your friends are just sent to the principal's office for wearing these shirts now?
Those are actually girls that are in ASB with me.
Wow.
So they're in the leadership program at King.
These are the student leaders. Yeah.
They're actually in the period before me as their executives. So it's like the presidents and the secretaries and the vice president, and they refuse to cover their shirts. So our ASB director sent them to the principal's office, and they missed like 3 periods because they wouldn't let them out without taping their shirts or anything. And my friend actually told me she was arguing with them, and the principal and one of the vice principals started crying in front of them. And I was like, "Why are they crying?"
I told you, Jadeynnn. So, they're petulant children. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it must be weird. So I was the last generation probably to have like a semi-normal high school experience. I graduated high school in 2010. And I think we had one transvestite in the entire student body in Los Angeles County. And so people got along even though they had different views. And this mania wasn't anywhere close to normal or integrated into the schools. And so I looked up to my teachers. I mean, they were the adults. I was the teenagers. They were mature. They were sophisticated. And now you're learning that most of them are actually not. What a weird position to be in. We're going to put all these numbers, by the way, in my show notes on YouTube, Rumble, and the audio podcast for you guys listening. We're going to put the school number, the principal's extension, the assistant principal, the Title IX coordinator, and the district superintendent for this area in Riverside. And we want you guys to call them, leave voicemails, be as absolutely brutal and mean as you can without sinning. And I want all my listeners to go to town in supporting you guys. Sophia, where does this go next?
Yeah, so next, like I said, I think there's a school board meeting happening, and I think, honestly, the principal and the administration is hoping it dies out as these students go to Christmas break. I think that's why they stopped with the dress coding last week. They're probably hoping we have Christmas break, the new year, we're going to come back and we can ignore this. So next, the students need to keep showing up and wearing these shirts. The lawsuit with the 2 cross-country girls, we're going to kind of see that play out. I mean, with Donald Trump coming into presidency in January, we're going to see some changes happen with this whole Title IX issue. We're going to see him push back. I mean, of course, we've already seen Gavin Newsom's dialing down and is ready to sue Trump for anything on this transgender ideology because they don't want to lose that here in the state of California. But I do see that we are going to win overall in this battle. I do believe we're going to see the day, and sooner rather than later, that boys and men are not in women and girls spaces. But my goal for these students is to continue to wear these shirts every single Wednesday, come back from Christmas break that first day and wear these shirts. The principal, the administrators, they want this issue to die out. So everyone that's listening, that's on social media, share about it. It doesn't matter if you're not in California. It doesn't matter if you're not in the United States. Share about it, post about it, call those numbers that Seth is going to put in the show notes, because we need to hold them accountable. We need to keep pushing back, and we need to stand up for truth and common sense. I mean, again, we're not saying to go out and fight this giant battle. We're just asking for you guys to say, men don't belong in women's sports. It is common sense. It is easy. It's nothing out of the blue. Actually, if we said that comment 15 to 20 years ago, people would say, why do you need to say that? We all know that. And so we just need to keep holding the line on this. The students need to hold the line. And we need people to keep showing up to these school board meetings. It's not tonight and we're done, because the trans community is showing up tonight. Planned Parenthood is showing up tonight. These people are ready to push back. And so we need to stand for common sense in Riverside and California and in the nation.
Yep. Jadeynnn, how many of your male students and peers and friends, how many of the dudes at MLK Junior High School are wearing these shirts and supporting you?
A lot. I know
Good.
most of the football team I saw wearing shirts.
Epic.
Most of the guys in my friend group got the shirts. Like, I saw so many guys wearing the shirts, and it was really sweet. Like, especially there was like the football team, they bought the shirts the like first day that it happened, before we even had the Wednesday like wear your shirt. So it was like really nice to see like all these people advocating for Taylor and like my friends. So
wow, that's awesome. Yes, and Sophia, you're exactly right. I mean, that one of the things I've been saying for a while now is people just need to learn how to say no. And this is something Riley Gaines actually said on my show. I asked her, and Jadeynnn, this might bless you and your friends. I asked Riley, I said, hindsight 2020, looking back, if you could go back, would you have jumped in the pool? When she had to swim against Will, whatever he calls himself. And she said, no, hindsight 2020, if I could do it all over again, I would have never jumped in the pool. So we just have to learn how to say no, right? Jadeynnn, you and your girlfriends, like, never compete against a dude who's in any kind of we just have to learn how to say no. And unfortunately, because most men are pathetic, pansy cowards, now you and your friends, the girls, are having to fight and stand up. Because most of the men and the boys won't. But I love to hear that. I love to hear how many of your high school guy friends are wearing the shirt and helping you out. I think that's so cool. So, Sophia, how can people support the lawsuit, support the girls at Martin Luther King Jr. High School, the athletes standing up against this? Are there practical ways that people can help beyond calling and leaving voicemails?
Yeah, so the most practical way people can help is those t-shirts are for sale, and the funds from that are actually going to go to help this lawsuit. The legal group that is helping and doing the lawsuit, they are also a nonprofit, and so they take these cases on pro bono. They rely on donations to do the lawsuits, and so I believe it's Save Girls Sports is the Instagram page. Seth, I'll get you that exact page. That can go in the show notes, but people can go on there, order shirts, get the shirts, donate some money to that, and that way we can have this lawsuit funded and continue to push back.
Insane. These are such insane years. Jadeynnn, are these boys at this high school, are they allowed into the girls' locker rooms?
My freshman year, when we had the first incident that went all over the news and everything, that boy was in the locker rooms, in the bathrooms, beating up girls in the bathrooms, in women's spaces.
Oh, so you were a freshman.
Haven't seen.
You were
I was
at
a
the
freshman.
high school when that happened. Oh, so you've seen this before.
Yes, I watched many fights in front of me when it just would randomly start.
Oh my
and
God.
It was bad, but I don't think anything's at my school at the moment. But I do know that our neighboring school has had this problem.
In the same district.
Yes.
What is going on with this district, Sophia?
Yep.
This isn't even like San Francisco.
Yeah, it's a pretty, conservative area as a whole. And so it's such a shock to see this happening in Riverside County at Riverside School District. But again, that goes to show you move to red states, you move to red cities, and you think you're safe. You think you can stop talking about all this stuff, but you're not. The city I grew up is a little small conservative town. And my goodness, I'm getting calls and texts from the kids in that town, from the parents of kids in that town saying my 8th grader had to go change in the principal's office because there was a boy in the girls' restroom. So this is such a reminder that this ideology is widespread. Your kids are being reached by it daily from social media and from their teachers that are trying to indoctrinate them. So don't think you can't talk to your children about this issue. You have to. Your children aren't safe no matter what school district you put them in, what city or what state you move them to. And I wish I didn't have to say that. I wish you could escape and go to a safe area, but it is everywhere. You have to be involved and you have to stand for the truth.
Yeah.
And
so
the teachers.
Go ahead.
The teachers at my school, like, they won't protect us. Like, we tried to bring up issues and they're like, oh, well, we weren't made aware of this. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure multiple people have expressed their opinions on this. The first day, me and my best friend wore our shirt. There was a girl behind us threatening to punch us in the face because we were smiling, wearing our shirt. And I texted a tip on that girl and they said, we will address this concern. And I was like, really? Because I haven't seen anything happen yet. And it's just repetitive. When the guy posted that he was going to join women's sports and that he was going to dominate the women's sports because he sucks at his own sport. Like, that's what he said. And I sent that to them and I said, how is that not hostile, but a shirt is? Are you really like that dumb? And it's just like the weirdest thing that they said we're not a protected group. But they are, and we're women.
That's right. Yep, you nailed it. Yep. You can threaten to harm people. Your friend can threaten to punch you in the classroom. And I don't think they were suspended or sent to the principal's office, but you wore a shirt and you were. Guys, if you're listening, that tells you everything that you need to know about this story and about our culture war.
Well, even worse. I brought up when I was having that 30-minute conversation instead of learning in my first period with the admin, I brought up, well, how come they can have a Pride Week at school and they can pass out flags, pass out shirts, put up posters. If we take down their posters, we get detention or suspension. But someone actually put up a Jesus Saves poster with a cross on it and it got turned down and nothing happened. Wow. That's wrong. That's the same thing expressing beliefs, except like, it's like, I don't know. It's just the weirdest thing. And many teachers, like, they just can't say anything because they know they'll get in trouble by the admin. So it's the weirdest thing.
It is weird. It is weird, Jadeynnn, when a junior female high school student has more courage than all of the adult, even conservative Christian teachers at your school. That is weird. It's not supposed to be that way. And part of me sad that you have to be encountering this, that you have to be at the tip of the spear of your generation right now. But another part of me is sort of excited for you because you and your friends who are boldly and courageously standing right now, Jadeynnn, you're learning such invaluable lessons as a teenager, and you're going to be a freaking dragon slayer, you and your friends, by the time you're in your 20s and 30s. Y'all will probably all be incredible friends, incredible wives, incredible mothers, because you've had to learn how to fight for some of the most basic things from a very early age. And it's not something that most people, not in my generation, and it's not something that most people in your generation have ever had to do. Do what? Fight, stand, be courageous. And so just as someone who's a bit older than you and who's been fighting these kind of things for a while, what you're learning and going through right now, it might kind of suck, but I hope you're sort of having a little bit of fun with it. I hope you can find how to have fun with it because you're on the right side of history and God's honoring your obedience and your courage. I'll end with this and then I'll turn it back over to you guys if you have any closing comments. These people believe that biology is bigoted. And if biology is bigoted, then anyone who tells their teacher, what, are you going to rewrite the biology curriculum because the back of my shirt is technically correct? They'll also believe that you are bigoted and that you need to be re-educated into what we should call really actually neo-pagan revivalism. That story you said about like the back, it's just the back of the shirt. It's not the front of the shirt. Like that tells you everything. They think that literally the shirt doesn't say anything about gender identity, guys, which is a little bit more, a hot topic. It just says XY does not equal X. And they can't even handle that.
Well, they changed their mind on it, actually. The first day, they said it was the back of the shirt, and I said, well, how's it the back of the shirt? Because all these people have been posted on different Instagrams without their consent, and it's all the different shirts. And they were like, oh, well, it's just that shirt. And I was like, okay, whatever. And then the next week, it was all the shirts that were going to get dress coded, and then nothing happened. And the principal actually walked towards me and my friend the second week, right up to us and said, "Good morning." And I was like, oh, she knows. So it's just like the weirdest thing that they can just change their mind on what they want to enforce, what they want to protect, who they want to protect.
Well,
it's just,
Jadeynnn, go give them hell or give them heaven, whichever one tonight at the school board meeting. Sophia, so proud of you. Where can people follow this story and also follow the great work that you're doing at California Family Council?
Yeah, so I have been, if you are on Twitter or now known as X, my username is Sophia S. Lorey, and I have a thread on there where every time there's a new update on the story, I'm putting it on the thread, I'm putting the tweets. That school board meeting tonight, I'm unfortunately out of state, but I will be watching live, putting up posts as soon as they're happening and letting everyone know the great things that people had to say, like Jadeynnn, and the nonsense that people are going to say, because there is going to be a lot of nonsense, lies said tonight. And so they're on Twitter, but in general, California Family Council on all the social medias, californiafamily.org. And This Is a Woman podcast. That's where you can find me and everything I've been up to.
Good. Well, super proud of you, Jadeynnn. Super proud of you, Sophia. Thank you guys for coming and telling your story. Remember, okay, Jadeynnn, I don't know how intense it's going to be at the school board meeting. Even if you are outnumbered and you experience the anger and the volume of the mob, just don't be discouraged and remember that you're right and they're wrong. And there are millions of people who will stand with you, who are praying for you and your friends as you're standing in this insanity. And, it might be worth reminding these disgusting, pathetic school board members that if a man can compete against females in their sport, then there's no reason why he can't be allowed in the shower and in the locker room. Oh, by the way, that happened in Virginia 3 years ago. I don't know if you're aware of the story, Jadeynnn, and a young gal was raped by a dude who said he was a girl. And that whole school board has basically been primaried and replaced with conservatives. So is that hostile? Yeah, something tells me that's very hostile for young women, and we need to actually completely remove all of these gender-confused dudes, or frankly, like probably pornography-addicted weirdos who are just getting aroused by this nonsense from polite society, and keep them away from women and friends like you and your peers. So super proud of you guys. Keep it up, and hey, let's have you back on once you win this case and we own the libs, shall we?
thank you.
Perfect. Well, thanks for having us on, Seth.
Keep it up, guys. We're proud of you. Guys, head on over to iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, give the show a rating and review, and go give Jadeynnn and Sophia some love on social media. Send them your prayers, send them your comments, follow their pages. I know Jadeynn's on Instagram and TikTok. Follow the story, okay? Buy the shirt, Save Girls Sports. We'll put all the links in the show notes, and slam those phone numbers of the principal, the superintendent, the vice principal. They actually need to feel the rage, not just of like common sense Southern Californians, but from people from all around the country, because a lot of these cases tend to be sort of a canary in the coal mine, and it's really important for us to stand and support the people who actually are having to deal with that insanity in their individual lives. A lot of us, we see this stuff, but we're not having to deal with the insanity. So go support them, go follow them, go pray for them first and foremost, and make sure you guys get your tickets to Life or Death Con. Go to lifeordeathcon.com, lifeordeathcon.com, and join us in Washington, D.C. on January 23rd, the day before the National March for Life, with Allie Beth Stuckey and Eric Metaxas and Dr. George Grant and Dr. Nancy Piercy and Joshua Broom and Pastor Gary Hamrick and Isabel Brown and Landon Schott. I mean, you can't miss this. We only got 1,000 seats. Go to lifeordeathcon.com and make sure that you pick up a book and screen the 1916 Project in your church. We have like 40 churches, I think, screening it just in January, and it's about to pick up again, the 1916project.com. And until next week, I'm Seth Gruber, and this is The Seth Gruber Show.